because, you know, the smaller guys I feel like should have gotten in some sort of like exception.
If they're coming to you, they're gonna get this like really nice like special jacket and this cool pant. I think she's my favorite.
She is stunning.
When you're paid, like I want it to be up to you what you're comfortable with. There's no pressure.
Yeah, no, I and Amy said the same thing, and I truly do appreciate that. Even with like my factory and my vendors, is that they're small businesses too. I'm committed to stay in the course. Like I can't. All I can do is, like I told Amy this morning, I could, you know, try to continue to just like do my best and, you know, hope it all works out.
Got laid off at the factory.
Woo! Hi guys, Andra here. So this video is the start or the restart. We're doing a lot of re's around here. Restart, rebrand, rebuild. We're doing a lot of re's around here. So Happy New Year. Let's start there. Happy 2026. Now, in order for me not to ramble on and on, I got my notes. So, welcome, first of all. If you're watching this, you are new to the Under Celeste New York Rebuild YouTube channel. So, what is this all about? Of course, I've had YouTube videos out before, but this is the rebuild. You may ask, why is it necessary to even have a rebuild? Because 2025 nearly took us out. It nearly took us out. Down for the count. Before we jump into all of that, what is this YouTube channel all about, right? What is it really about? What is it really about? It is not, I can tell you first off, it's not a place where we're gonna come and commiserate and woe is me and talk about the misery and the unfairness of life and the fashion industry. That's what it's not. But what it is a place where we're gonna speak truth, right? We're gonna speak truth. We're gonna kind of rip the Band-Aid off and open the curtain behind what it's really like what it's really like being a young, I'm still young, fashion entrepreneur. Because I think a lot of times people take so much time to talk about the fashion part of it and not enough time to talk about the entrepreneurship part of it and the strains it has on your mental health and the strain it has on your finances, on your families, on your relationships. Like, this is a lot. And for me, the highlight reels that we see on Instagram, and I'm one, I participate in that. And the highlight reels we see even on YouTube, it's just not enough, right? It's not enough to really let the world know what's happening, right? So that's really what this is about, right? The channel will be that behind the scenes of me rebuilding Under Celeste New York in 2026. It'll, you know, may get a little personal, but we'll also talk about style. We'll talk about, you'll come with me on photo shoots, fashion shows, New York Fashion Week, all of the fun stuff. But I do want to always balance the fun things with the truth of the matter. And so I'll say this is our 10-year anniversary. Yay! We never would have made it. Yeah, I know I had that. Me either. But yes, no, I won't be doing much singing. That's what's not gonna happen on here. But where was I? We made it to 10 years. And the title of this video is, we're 10 years, we should be celebrating, but we're rebuilding. We're not, at least not in the first half of 2026. There's no celebration. There's no party. There's no fashion show. There's no heavily edited Instagram posts. There's none of that. There's not even going to be a 10th anniversary sale. Like, everything is already on sale. We're not going to celebrate ourselves by discounting our hard work. We're not even doing that, right? We're not doing that. And so what are we doing? What are we doing? We're rebuilding. And I'll just cut to the chase. Rebuilding requires money. Say it with me. Building businesses. Come on, Black people, or people, whoever's watching. Say it with me. Building businesses requires money. Say, drag me for filth. I had still enough wherewithal to know that coming to my 10th year in business, that we had to get some money. We got to get some money. And so as of this video, today is January 29th, and I just got off a call from an investor. Okay, we're talking about digging deep into the numbers, digging deep into the whys, digging deep into the scenarios. Well, what happens if this happens? What happens if that happens? All of which I appreciate, because it even gives me an opportunity to think that. Like, fashion entrepreneurs don't think about the what ifs. We just feel like we make beautiful clothes, and we just, if the world would only see it at scale, it would be fine. As I rebuild Andre Celeste New York, and I won't say from the ground, because I feel like we have a lot of equity that we stand on. If you've been following the brand, you know that we've done a lot of great things. If you know anything, you know I'm sitting in my beautiful flagship store. So we won't act like we're coming from the mud. We've come from the mud. We've been in the mud. We've come from the mud. But right now, we're not necessarily in the mud, but we're pretty down. The first step in the rebuild is getting money. And maybe I'll talk more about that process as I go through it. As of this video, I have a soft yes. We don't have a hard yes, but I'm believing God for it. And that's another thing. Entrepreneurship, like, I have so much I want to talk about. Like, this channel is going to be good. Entrepreneurship and a faith journey. Woo! I'm not going to hold you, but that we can have a whole conversation on entrepreneurship and the faith journey. How, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, it's particularly a fashion entrepreneur, you have to have a faith foundation. How else? How you have to have a faith foundation. You have to believe in something or someone bigger than you. If you watch my interviews that I always talk about, because it's so important, at least for me, at least I recognize it. It's important for all of us, but all of us may not recognize it. As you can see, the sun is moving. Okay, there we are. Had to move, but that's also another whole conversation, right? About faith and what does it mean to really trust and believe in something higher than yourself. For me, it's God that is pushing you forward. After 10 years of business under me, I'm rebuilding. In 2025, we started the year really good, right? Our sales was up. I had about 3.5 people working for me. Half because one is virtual. It's not a half a person, she was virtual. You know, my business with Saks was doing well. Went into February with a really strong market. Came out with a really good order, a really nice assortment. And February, end of February, we were like, yeah, okay, guns blazing, here we go. And then this thing, which I always say is kind of like the smoke we smelled before the fire, with Saks, they changed their terms. Now, just to give you a little bit of why that is really important for me, is because I was one of the few brands who had a net 30. Now, maybe I'll get in trouble for saying that on here. I don't know, but this is why you came. We had a net 30, You know, they weren't terrible with their payments, like, you know, 30, get it 40, 45 days, whatever. But I relied on that. I really, really put my eggs in the Saks basket, and I relied on that business for my business. Now, I know as we are recording this video, Saks has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. I am probably in the minority in thinking that I don't believe Saks is going to go away. I don't think so. But it's not a too big to fail, because that's not actually a thing. You can fail. But I think that the Saks customer is extremely loyal, and the market will know he has nowhere else to go. So I think they will pull out. I could be naive. Listen, this is where we have these personal conversations. I think they will pull out of it. But anyway, so that hammer came down. I had this substantial order. I had placed it. Did I place it yet? I think I was about to place it, but I placed it anyway because I felt like, oh, okay, something's gonna happen. Our D2C business was very weak, very weak. We don't have a great D2C business. At the very same time, I had some personal issues with family that cost me a lot of money, and it was unexpected. It was unexpected, cost me a lot of money, ran me into a wall financially and, dare I say, emotionally. I think I spent too much time, and that's the thing. Like, sometimes you have like things where family will do something and then you can brush it off. But for me, I didn't brush it off. I spent a lot of time mourning the situation, and I needed to jump into action to save myself financially. To say, these two kind of storms collided and created this like perfect storm in my life, right? We're getting personal here, guys, like, for real. First of all, the lighting over here is tea, honey. Do you see this light? I'm about to do every video over here. We can talk about my outfit when I'm done. So that happened. And so now the foundation of my brand at this point is deciding that they're not going to pay. My personal finances are in a disarray, and everything just came to a head. And so we went to get funding, different sources, and everybody's seeing things are not looking good. Factors, which is the way most fashion businesses fund their production. Factors was like, we're not touching Saks with a 10-foot pole, and you shouldn't ship to them anyway because you're not going to get paid because they're going to go bankrupt. People were telling me that in June. Then I finally found a factor who, and honestly, this particular factor, they weren't familiar with the fashion industry, so I kind of was lucky, so they didn't know what was really happening. Through the process, place the order with the factory, put the deposit. They said, oh yeah, we're good. Just have them, the factor and the factory signed an agreement, all good. The factory was ready to ship, and they said, no. We heard, we like read a tweet about Saks and we're not gonna do it. I said, what? I said, I've done everything you've asked me to do. And mind you, this is not like, I'm abbreviating the experience for this video, but this is months, this is weeks. Like, I think I got in touch with them in like June, and by August, when the delivery was supposed to be delivered, they were like, yeah, no. So, needless to say, didn't get to deliver a substantial order. Would I have gotten paid? I don't know. We don't know, but it never got delivered. We did pre-spring, also didn't get delivered, which is a part of this jacket that I'm wearing, which is so cute. And so by the time I'm rolling around to Q4, I'm like laid prostrate before the throne of God and said, Do I have a business?
I'm asking
What's the
you.
name of your clothing line? We don't know.
I spent hundreds of thousands and putting out clothing line.
Is there a business? Is there a business? Is there a business? And everything around me, obviously I wasn't sitting here, because you look around here, there is a business. But everything around me that was happening said, not only was there not a business, I had to lay everybody off. And everything that I started the year with, by the time we hit October, I was looking for a job. October, I was looking for a job. Now, of course, I'm being like super transparent and I'm making light of it, but none of this was light, right? None of this was light. This was like heavy, sad. I had built this brand literally from the mud for 10 years, for 9 years at this point. 9 years. I had done all the things. Like, I had done all of the things, right? And still, we were here, completely broke, and not being able to see a way out. Now, at this time, I would say, you know, being on Instagram, I start to see the story with Ami Cole, right? I start to see another lady, I think her business is called Blondery. And then I see another business, and I notice a pattern, right? Most of these are Black women who have had amazing businesses, and then they have to give it up. And it's so public, and it's so, like, to me, and it's not embarrassing. Like, I don't want to use that word, but it's like, I'm trying to find the word. But it's like too much, right? Like, I don't like it when we garner support when people are failing, right? The young lady from Ami Cole, I know she did the interview with Reed, and she said the day that she announced that they were closing was the day that she made the most money. She had made, let me get correct. She made more money in that day than they had made that whole year. We also on this channel are going to have a conversation about brands of color that you rally when they're like new and shiny. You tear them down to shreds when they talk about scaling and selling. But then when they fail, we want to throw a party at the checkout counter. I don't have an opinion about it. Wait, no, that's not true. I do have an opinion about it, but at the end of the day, it's a conversation. Like, so I'm seeing all of this, and meanwhile, I'm sitting here, and I'm hustling, and I'm praying, and I'm trying to figure out, like, is this it, Lord? Is this it? And I can't tell you what part of me said that it wasn't, because like I said, every indicator said that it is. But I would say it was more or less my community, my mom, my dad, and this message to keep going. So I said, okay, well, if I keep going, we got to do things so much differently, right? We loved our experience with Saks. You're not going to come on here and see me bashing Saks Fifth Avenue. You won't. Do they owe me money? Yes. Is it a lot? Not that much. Is it going to change my life if they paid me tomorrow? I'll pay somebody else, but, you know, I'll pretty much be living the same. But my journey with Saks was actually pretty good, right? I had some amazing buyers. RuPaul, who just resigned, I think this week, was like my fashion godmother. Like, I could call her and talk things through that just didn't make sense to me. My terms were always good, and, you know, and I got paid for the most part. I got paid. So you won't see me bashing them, but I will say this, for any business or any brand, and I wrote this in my little handy dandy paper. Where you focus is where you grow. We had a pretty decent business with Saks because that's where I put all my focus. I did something that I should not have done, which is I ignored my direct-to-consumer. And that's something that's a huge part of the rebuild. Shopping is different. As like I said, I don't think that Saks will go away. My personal opinion is that women still desire an in-person experience. And so we'll be doing a lot of those in the rebuild, a lot of those in the rebuild. And I have a really good one coming up and I cannot wait to share. The first thing we have to do is build the foundation, and the foundation is funding.
So I am not nervous. You know, my personal mantra for 2026 is ask, believe, and receive. That's the personal mantra of my life for 2026. I'm doing that, so I'm not nervous, right? So I will keep you posted, and actually you're coming along for the ride, all right?
We need to see that plan, Andra. You know, with the full financing, beginning balance sheet, you know, your full year forecast, ending balance sheet. Part of what we were running through is there was enough profit for the year, but there wasn't enough cash flow to rebuy inventory for the following year.
Just out of curiosity, you have zero in for January, and does that mean you're not taking salary in January? Is that the idea? Or you haven't?
I'm not. Woo-yee, Lordy.
This is our fourth conversation because they still want some documents and some things and some projections. But I just want to say two things while it's fresh in my head. Number one, God is super faithful. I have seen God work in some magnificent ways in this business. I believe it's through this business that God has showed me his mercy and his sovereignty, even through the tough times, which is kind of what we're dealing with now. And the second thing is you gotta be 10 toes down in the ground about what you do, who you serve, and what you provide in the world, right? Because if you waver and if you don't sound sure or maybe, people can hear it and people can feel it. And so it felt really good to stand in that, right? But that is the foundation. You cannot pour, especially Black women. We love to pour from an empty cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You need the funding. You need a management team. You need the hand holding, and let's all jump together, okay? So that's what I've been spending my January doing. And when I say I've been spending my January doing that, I'm literally on the phone every day or an email every day, talking to people, trying to get money, trying to get them to buy in to something that based off of 2025 looked like it doesn't even exist. But we have 9 amazing years of traction. And so we're getting people to buy in. And so I am excited, guys, about this YouTube channel. Please, if you've watched this, subscribe, share, do all the things, please. The jacket I am wearing, because I know people are going to ask, it's a really cute jacket. This was pre-spring 26. This jacket is coming. The mantra for I have two. I have a personal one. My personal mantra for 2026 is ask, believe, and receive. That may sound simple and cheeky. Most of us are okay with the asking part. Okay, yeah, ask God. Believe, that's where the hard part. Because you have to believe, and in believing, sometimes there is a wait. So I'm not okay with it. I prefer not, but but then the receiving, oh, don't get me to shouting on, don't get me to shouting on this video. But the receiving is the blessing. So this the middle part. It's that middle part that's the hard part. But that's my personal mantra. And you can make it your 30-day scriptural reference for ask, believe, and receive. And you know what? Why not? I'm gonna share it with you guys down in the thing. I'm gonna learn the names of all the things, but for right now it'll be somewhere down here. I'll link it. And then for the business, we are rebuild. 2026 is all about the rebuild. It's all about the rebuild, and I'm so excited about it. I think towards the end of this year, we will look like a completely different brand. The clothes will not. The clothes will still be great. The clothes will still be amazing quality. The clothes will still be fly. We will still speak to our fly professional woman of a certain age, honey. We're going to be staying positive and excited about everything that is a mandate from God. And that's it. I have gotten through my first YouTube video. Look at me. But anyway, guys, please do like, subscribe, and so once a month I will be here to talk. But like I said, it won't just be me talking. It'll be me taking you on this amazing journey of rebuilding my brand. You know, styling videos, interviews. Maybe I'll interview somebody about. I really do want to have a conversation with someone else about the intersection of faith and fashion entrepreneurship. I get it for all entrepreneurs, but I know so many fashion entrepreneurs, and that is a big part of what they do. So anyway, guys, thank you so much.